Okay, so I'm just going to start a game and I'll chop these videos up into shorter ones to help you figure out how to play. I'm setting up a four-person game and I'll just kind of go through it round by round to explain certain circumstances. So I'm going to play an open hand the first time, and you actually can play open hand since you're collaborating together. So when you're first learning how to play, it's not a bad idea just to show each other your cards while you're playing, just to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and start, okay? So player one here, everybody starts with one labor or one rice field. The first thing you should always try and do is maximize your rice. So try and get that person 3 rice fields if possible. I only have 1 extra one, so we can only put 1 there, okay? Now, this laborer, he's doing rice, so he can't build. So these stones can't be used right now. This laborer I could add to the rice field here, and then he's available to build. But early in the game, it's kind of smart to wait because we don't have a big rice surplus. And it's better to have that surplus than to start feeding a new person right away. So at the end of your turn, what you can do is discard any cards you want to. And remember that the top 20 cards here are safe. So sometimes it's good to try and get some better cards. Laterite is good because that's the Temple Foundation. So maybe we'll get rid of these 2. You can just toss those in the box. And then you want to draw 3 more cards. And always do them one at a time because the event cards, which have to be played immediately, should be played immediately. So pick 3 cards, go ahead and pick. And then that's the end of your turn. You can't play any of these cards, okay? So player 1's done. So then player 2, we come over here, and again, like any rice you have, you want to use just to try and get as much surplus as you can early on. And again, this guy only has stones, and that guy is busy farming, so you can't build because he has no one free to build. So we need to get rid of some of these cards. And again, like sandstone, like you need both these stones to build the temple. So you can discard some early on, but don't discard too many because if that deck is gone before the end of the game, before the temple's built, then you lose. So you want to like learn how to discard some, but not too many cards. And then just draw them one at a time. It's a sandstone. Okay, so that's an unfortunate bad draw. So that person's not too happy. Player 3 here. Player 3 here has rice. So let's go ahead and add that rice. And again, like here, like this guy has 2 laborers, so he could start building the temple. And now we already have like 2 surplus rice since we're doing it all together. We actually have 3 surplus rice with this guy. So we could afford to put this guy in the village now. But again, in the first round, I think it's always best just to try and like accumulate stuff. So we'll discard 1 card and then we'll draw 3 more. 2 more, sorry. Shoot, okay. It's always good to get rice early on. Okay, now the fourth player actually has an artisan. There's only 2 of those in the deck, so that's lucky to get early in the game. But again, we'll wait until the second round maybe to do something about that. So again, rice is always good. So let's go ahead and add that rice. And then he's got 3 sandstones, so maybe we'll get rid of 2 of these for now. There's about twice as many of these cards as you need, so you can discard up to 50% of them. There's some rice, that's good. Some laterite and sandstone. Okay, so once all 4 players have played, that's the end of 1 round, and now we're going to do the harvest. In the advanced play, there's a slight variation, but in the standard rules, you just go around just like that. And what we want to do is add up all the rice. So there's 2 there. That's 2 there is 4, 6, 8 rice. And what you should get in the habit of, just so you don't get confused, is go ahead and add that 8. So we started with 4, right? So 4 plus 8 is 12. So right now it's at 4, so 12 would be 10 and 2. Okay, so we have 12 rice now. And then how many people do we have to feed? We have to feed 4 people, so we have to subtract 4. So 12 minus 4 is 8, okay? And that would be the end of the first round. And we have 8 surplus, which means now we may be able to afford one of these things, which are 5 each, which you're gonna pay out of your communal rice bank. I'm gonna go ahead and just play the second round. Oh, you know what? Before you start the second round, what you're now allowed to do is players can exchange cards. So one thing that's interesting is like, this guy has 2 rice fields already, so he can put 1 more there, but he has like 2. So like this guy over here who doesn't have any, before the next round, you can change cards. And you can show each other your cards during the harvest. Normally, it's not an open hand game. Normally, you would keep your cards to yourself and you could only show them at the harvest. And you could only discuss your strategy at the harvest. Once you start playing, you can only just play. But before we start any round here, like this guy should change a card maybe. We'll get rid of one of these. give that to him, and then he can give this guy one of those. Now each player can only exchange one card, so these two can exchange now if they would like to as well. And again, he only has one extra rice, is going to go there. Maybe he'll hang on to those. You don't have to trade too much. I think early on, just worry about making sure everybody has enough rice. Later on, you can get into more advanced trading strategies, which can take a while. Sometimes people spend a lot of time here with this negotiation, and it's kind of fun and it's important to plan, but early on, it's not a big deal. Just try and grow as much rice as you can, okay? So here, again, we'll give that guy rice. So now he's maxed out there. Now, we do have 8 surplus rice. So this guy could like buy a buffalo and that would double his production to 6, but then we'd be like low. It's kind of safer not to spend money until like later in the round in case you get like one of those event cards that could really kill you. I think in general it's better to start out slow, but just for sake of teaching you, like we can't afford this guy now. So let's just add that one extra mouth to feed, and now he can go ahead and build the temple. Now the laterite, this red stone, this is the foundation, so this should go down first. And you're going to need to put these Sacred Sword and Silver Nandin in these temples when they're completed, so go ahead and start on those first. So the laterite foundation has to go down first. And he can only do 1 building action per turn. This guy's busy farming. This guy can only build once, so he's only allowed to put 1 card. Okay. If he had an elephant, he could do more, but he doesn't have an elephant yet. Okay. So then we're going to draw 3 cards. Always have to draw it to 5. He could have discarded, but we'll just draw. And now that's 5 cards. Okay. Over here, this guy's glad to have that extra rice, so he's going to put that extra rice there. And he doesn't have any more laborers, so again, maybe we'll get rid of some of this stuff. It's good to have some stone, but let's just get rid of a couple of those. And then we're going to draw 1. Bad luck. Sometimes people get bad luck, right? Good thing we're all working together. Okay, so now over here, again, we don't have a lot of surplus, but maybe this guy wants to play. Just be careful about playing too many people too soon. But you can put this guy here, and now he's free to build the temple because he's not growing rice. So he can place one of these stone cards at the temple. He can either place a laterite, which is the foundation, and we could do the foundation for this tower here. Or what he can do is he can put the sandstone, which goes on top of the foundation, on top of that laterite there. So now 2 of the 3 pieces to complete that are done, okay? So now we'll just have this guy discard 1 card, and then he'll draw, oh, Circus, good, that's a wild card. That's good for the next round. Okay, and now finally, this player here, okay, he has rice, so we'll put that rice there. And he has an artisan, so we might as well go ahead and play him now, okay? The artisan is like a laborer, but he also can carve sandstone to make it decorative. So since we already have a sandstone, that one action that this guy can do, he can either build for his one action, or he can carve. And since there's already sandstone there, he carves that one by turning it over, and now that piece is complete, okay? So that's kind of a good turn, and now we have some extra cards. Maybe we'll get rid of a couple of these. We don't want to throw away too many sandstone, but okay. Okay, and now we do a harvest. Okay, so add up all your rice first. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we had 11. We had 8 plus 11 is 19. And then we have to feed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the amount you feed them is there. So 7 total brings us down to 12. Okay, so now we're actually doing pretty good. Now in the third round, we could probably get a little bit more fun. Now, remember that you can trade at the harvest. So before you start the next round, if you want to swap any cards. Now, one good thing about this circus card is this circus card can be used as anything. And early on, it's good to use as a buffalo. Okay? And so maybe just because we feel bad for player 2 here, maybe we'll trade this buffalo here, and then we'll give this guy some sandstone because he already has a builder, right? And now this guy has some cards. This guy has the rice that he needs, so he doesn't need to trade any of that. Maybe we'll just go ahead and see how this plays out. Okay, so this guy has the 1 laborer. He has some laterite. Put that down as the foundation for his turn. Okay, and now he has this other laborer, and we could now add that guy as well, and then he would have a turn being able to build. But again, I like to start out slow and just try and save as much rice as we can. Because the other thing we could do is this guy could now buy an elephant. But again, I say let's keep it slow for 1 more round, and then we'll see how it goes. So maybe we'll just discard 1. Uh-oh, see, this is what you have to worry about. honor the gods. So if the queen is at the temple, plus 25 rice. If not, then minus 10 rice. Now, we don't have anyone really at the temple yet. The queen is conspicuously absent. So we have to pay 10 rice credits. So that puts us down to 2. Okay? So had this guy bought an elephant or a buffalo, the game would have been over right there. So that's why you need to build up some rice. You need to like take care. So we're going to discard that, just set it aside, and then keep drawing. Okay. So now we're kind of in trouble because we only have 2 rice in the bank. If we get another one of those honor the gods, we're done. So we're definitely going to need to use this as a buffalo. Okay? So you just place that there, and you have to feed it the same amount that you feed everything else. And buffaloes are 0. Buffaloes just feed themselves, but that doubles this rice production. So that has to stay as a buffalo until another player buys a buffalo and then puts it there, and then you can use that as whatever you want. Okay? So now we have to be careful not to get another honor the gods card. So if you don't play one of your 5 cards, then you have to discard one. But since we've played one, we should just draw 1 card. Just hang on to those for now, just to play safe, you know? So let's pick 1 card. Nice. Okay, we found an elephant. We can't use that this round. It's just an elephant, and we can use that in the subsequent round. Okay, this guy here, definitely need rice. Since this guy's in the village, we should use him to build. Don't ever, like, you're feeding him, so let's use him. And we have some sandstone, so we'll put some sandstone down. It's good to do the towers first, okay? And then we don't want to put more people in the village to do more work because we only have 2 rice in the bank and we need to try and build our rice back up. So let's not discard any, and then we'll draw 2. So it's 1, labor, wow, lots of laborers early on. Okay, and the sacred sword, okay? That's one of the regalia that goes in the towers. Okay, here we go. This guy's got an artisan. Now there's no sandstone for him to carve. We could have done some better switching to make sure before this round started that there would have been sandstone on one of those for him to carve. But since he can also build the temple as well as carve it, we'll just have him go ahead and put that sandstone there. And then on his next turn, he'll be able to carve it. And again, like I'm tempted to throw one of these away, but it's really risky. Like we have 4 cards and we don't need all of these, but I'm just gonna go ahead and draw because I'm scared to get an honor the gods card. Okay, nice. Okay, so we made it through with 2 that round. So let's harvest. So that's 1, 2, 3. Now that's 3, but it's doubled because it's got the buffalo there. So that's 6. So 3 plus 6 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we got 15 rice. So that's plus 10 and plus 5 is, so we're up to 17. And then we have to feed 1, 2, 3 because we still have to feed the laborer. 4, 5, 6, 7. So we subtract 7 and we're back to 10. Okay? So 10's not too bad. So we're kind of back to safe. That's the worst that you can get. There might be one 15, minus 15 in your deck. So it's better to have more than 10 surplus before you start doing any spending, you know? Now one good thing to do is to get apsaras. So to train your laborer as an apsara costs 5. So like this guy has an extra laborer and that guy has an extra laborer. And it might be worth spending 5 to send an apsara to the temple because the gods like apsaras and that will win you rice credits rather than lose it, you know? Especially because this guy has lots of cards in his hand. Maybe some of those should become apsaras as soon as we can afford it. This elephant, again, you have to feed this elephant 2 on top of the laborer that you put him with. Now this guy doesn't have a laborer, so he shouldn't even have the elephant. So maybe we want to trade this over here to this guy. And this guy gives him one of his laborers. You can trade 1 card, remember, each. So if this guy trades the elephant for the laborer, then we can pair these up. We can pair these up later, which is good. And now this guy has like a laborer to do some building. Okay. And over here, that guy there has a rice, and this guy here has a rice. So maybe we want to spend some time growing some rice. So maybe these guys can switch, and we'll give like the sandstone over there, and we'll give the rice over here, and then this guy can try and get like 3 more rice fields. Okay. So that's the first 3 rounds. And then I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to start a new one, okay?